Takeoff 007, turn right, heading 185, reduce speed 180 knots.
185 on heading 180 on Takeoff Air 007.
Speedbird 124, reduce speed 160 knots to 40 me.
Reduce 160 to 4, speed 124.
Hi there guys, Matt here. Hope you're all well. Welcome back to episode number 1, or I should say welcome to episode number 1 of my new How to A2A 182, or should I say Cessna 182 series. This episode is titled Baby Steps, because I have just as much of a clue about it as you do. The reason for the delay in the video was actually quite simple. I had an idea of what I wanted to do with the A2A 182, I nearly said 172 then, shoot me down, but I didn't have a UK-based registration repaint for it, and I am slightly a perfectionist, so that was annoying me somewhat. However, Ron Atwood, excuse my pronunciation if that is not correct, has saved the day, and he has created this, which is Golf Bravo Delta India Golf. I actually think this is the P variant of the 182. I'm not quite sure what the P stands for. I know this is a 182T, but yeah, maybe if someone knows, they will let me know. Probably should have done a little bit more research. I know it's based in the UK somewhere. Pictures suggest either Gamston or Wolverhampton, but it doesn't matter. It's based in the UK, and it seems to have visited its fair share of airfields within the UK. At the moment we're up at Sunborough, up in Scotland, and we are going to, well, in this episode we're just going to be flying some pattern work, getting used to it, and then over the next series of parts we will be heading southbound down through Scotland and down towards the UK, ending in a place called Wolverhampton, Halfpenny Green, I think they call it. It's spelled halfpenny green, but I think they call it Halfpenny Green, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be a pretty long set of videos, but it should be fun. I read somewhere today that this aircraft is capable of reaching flight level, I think it was 189 or 190, which to me is just absolutely ridiculous. When I read it I was like, oh awesome, let's try that. Then I realised that the oxygen system isn't modelled on here, so we are never going to get that high, because obviously you would never fly up at flight level 190 or whatever the ceiling is without oxygen. That would be a pretty stupid idea. So we're not going to do that. However, what we will do is we will kind of put it to the test and test its limits, but that will be for future episodes. Right now I'm just commenting, what am I talking about, concentrating on what this thing has to actually offer. As with the intro, I'm not really concentrating on the details of the model and the texture, although I probably just spent 3 or 4 minutes talking to you whilst panning around. But you already know what A2A are like when it comes to modelling and texturing. They're absolutely outstanding. Michael Puto or Pulto, I can't remember his name. I have him on Twitter as the guy that mastered all of this, and it's nothing short of exceptional. Anyway, okay, so let's go into the cockpit, or the flight deck I think we have to call it nowadays. And at the moment we are set as cold and dark, and you can do this by Shift and 3 and then hitting cold and dark here. They've just in the new update, actually, as of I think maybe 2 days ago, removed the given you the ability, should I say, to remove the experimental logo on the side of it. The thing is, with 182, it comes with, or A2A have included, 2 types of propeller. You have the 3-blade propeller, which I'll try and show you. So at the moment we have the 2-blade, which is the Macaulay 82-inch, which is a constant speed 2-blade prop, and it's apparently experimental. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm sure some loving viewer will tell me. You can actually swap it out with this one, which is a 3-blade propeller, and this is a Macaulay 79-inch constant speed 3-blade, and that's usually what they ship with. However, this actual repaint comes with a 2-blade, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to, for the sake of this video, overhaul it completely. I don't know why it won't let me do that. There we go. Let's fix that starter. So yeah, it's a complete overhaul from scratch. So if we get any failures from this point on, we are dealing with them as we would if we were a real pilot. How we're going to do that is yet to be proven. So, as I was saying, back in the flight deck, two blade prop, and every time I do something, someone else spawns, which is interesting. You can hear the AI sound. I hope that's not too off-putting, but we can't really get rid of that because I could plug the headphones in down here, but I don't think that gets rid of the AA sign. No, it doesn't. It just gets rid of the actual A2A 182 sounds. So we just kind of have to put up with that. Okay, so back to shift and 3, what I was saying. Cold and dark. You can remove the experimental sticker. I have done. And there's obviously a bunch of presets you can use, so if you want to auto start it and not bother with the whole start procedure, then by all means go ahead. But I really want to get down and dirty with this, so we're definitely going to go through it properly. You have the cowl flaps here, which you can now open and close on the actual panel itself, on the 2D pop-up, or you can just go down here and move this switch, and away you go, or lever, should I say. As far as the GPS goes, well, we don't actually have one at the moment, but for videos when we're actually doing some legit flying, as in going a long distance and navigating, I have a bit of a surprise for you. Those of you on Facebook will have already seen it, and Twitter. I'm not going to tell you what it is if you've not seen it, but it's something to do with the GPS, so I guess you could go figure that out yourself. But for now, for this part, no GPS, no nothing. We'll just fly off raw data, and we'll kind of fly it properly, I suppose. Fly it like an old-fashioned person would. Maybe old-fashioned people use GPSs, I don't know, but I don't feel like they would. Okay, so, first things first, we need to just check we've got enough fuel, which we do. We've got 46 and 47%, that's completely fine for what we're doing. Oil percentage is good, and we've just got one pilot at the moment. The system is in metric, which is perfect for us. We have no baggage, we have no other passengers, so we're all good. We can get out our owner's handbook, and we can have a look at what that has to offer. I'm going to move this over here, because I always find that up here I struggle to read it. Maybe that's because of the position of my my monitor or something, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so we can shift 3 it, and we can remove the tie downs and the chocks, and we can close the door and also get rid of the pitos. Now you could do this outside, and of course you should always really do a walk around. But like with the 172, I don't know if you've tried to do the walk around with the 172 before. I can't do it with EasyDock. It just breaks. I think it's something I'm doing wrong. It really doesn't like it, so we're just gonna not bother with the walk around. It's a brand new aircraft. I mean, what could go wrong? Hopefully by the time I release videos where we probably should do the walk around, we will have the solution to the EasyDock problem. Fingers crossed. Anyway, so apparently notes are lean on ground to avoid fouling plugs, which is pretty much essential nowadays, especially in hotter places. It's pretty cool to lean out on the ground. Check the CHT temperatures are more than 200 degrees before run up. And max flap extension speeds if we need them. Approach speeds are there. Max crosswind, etc. The weather's pretty nice actually today. It's not too much of a problem. If we cheat and shift Z it twice, there we go. So 214 or 210 at 13 knots. So we're within limits there, considering the runways here are 15, I think there is. There's another one. I'll get the chart in a minute, but we should be fine. Okay, so page 2. This is the same kind of checklist as you get in the 172. This isn't a 172, by the way. It's just I'm talking about similarities. It flies nothing like a 172. I've done a little bit of testing just to make sure that everything works fine. Oh look, birds, how nice. And it flies nothing like a 172. In fact, I really can't fly this very well, so that's going to be interesting. Anyway, aeroplane weight and balance, well, we already checked that before, and the parking brake's set at the moment, and the control lock, we can remove it by clicking it, and bring the yoke. Actually, we'll leave the yoke away for now. The ignition and avionics are off at the moment. Master switch is off, but it requires us to turn it on. However, there is a small problem here. I'm not quite sure on the battery on this, so I'm just going to pretend that I understand that if we have the flaps down, when we put this on, with the flap lever in the up position, we're going to drain a fair bit of power. And considering we're not generating any power at the moment, that could be a problem. So we'll drag that all the way, and then we'll turn the master switch on, and then that won't cause any drain of power unnecessarily. Okay, the fuel quantity, well, we already checked that, but you can check it over here, sorry. And the annunciator panel switch is here. We can test that. All the lights flash, and then we can let go, and everything that needs to come on will. From that, the fuel selector valve needs to go onto both, which is just in the middle down here, and the cowl flaps need to be open, which are closed, so we can open the cowl flaps. The flaps, well, they're already extended, and the master switch now can go off. So with that, we can set the trim for takeoff, which is really, really simple. If I press the right button, there we go. There is a bug with the trim, easily fixed. I honestly don't mind it. I'll link the video below anyway of how you fix it. Actually, I'll link the thread as to how you fix it. There is a video, but yeah. Okay, so page 2, throttle. Oh, this is for engine start. Okay, so there isn't really much more to do. That's pretty cool. So this is the engine start now. It's getting a bit misty in here, but can't really do anything with the engine off, so we'll get that fired up, and then we'll start messing with the heaters and kind of get a bit better visibility. Okay, so throttle, let me just make sure. Oh, knock things over, that's really good. Okay, throttle just a little bit in, and the mixture is full out at the moment. Prop control's in, master switch can come on, and the beacon, and of course the nav lights as well, can come on. The cowl flaps are open, and the fuel pump, we can prime it just a little bit, and we can push the mixture in until we get positive fuel flow, which we do here. With that, we can turn the fuel pump off, and while that is there, we can yell out the window something along the lines of clear prop, shut the window, and then crank the engine. And it broke. This is great. Let's try again. There we go. Second time round. Very, very good. Always the case. Okay, so we power for about 1,000 RPM, I guess, is kind of the same as what you do in other light aircraft. And then we can slowly start to lean it out a little bit at a time, matching power with the mixture. And I'm happy with that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the nav lights we already did. The T's and P's are already checked, which is the oil pressure, the temperatures. Nav lights, again, I just did it twice, are on, and the avionics can come on now. And we can start watching the radios light up. Very good. 7,000 in the UK is the transponder code for VFR. And the radios are on. And the flaps can now be retracted, which have a really nice sound to them. Okay, so once they're coming up, we can switch to page number 3. And we can make sure that the seatbelts are fastened. The flight controls, well, we can check those quite easily. Just move everything around. And if we wanted to, we could look out the window as we do that and watch the deflection of the surfaces. And then the elevator, you can see the plane moves as you do it, that's quite cool. From that, the fuel quantity is checked again. Mixture rich for takeoff, but we'll leave that because that's before takeoff kind of checklist. Okay, so that is us in a state ready for taxi, which is cool. Next, I guess we should sort the misting issue out. Okay, so to fix the misting problem, I just had to restart Flight Simulator because my stupid rudder pedals wouldn't work. That's what happens when you play Battlefield 4 and you have to disable them. I forgot to re-enable them, and then FSUI PC wouldn't realize. I can't speak today. I give up. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so the misting problem, as I said, actually has fixed itself because I reloaded, but I'm guessing it will come back. So what I'm going to do is just turn these on a little bit, and then if we look at the owner's handbook, it's warming rapidly. So let's just decrease that a little bit. You don't want it to be too warm. There you go, it's steady. That's all good. Okay, so we need to taxi. Now the wind is coming from 220, so we can go to the right and taxi down to runway 15, and then we'll make the circuit off runway 15. So 1000 RPM still, and we can turn the taxi light on, and we can remain leaned. I need to put this back to 7000. Whoops. We need to go to Unicom as well because we're on that sim, so 122.8 or decimal 8. Sorry for being American. Good. Okay, so now my rudder should work. Parking brake release, there we go. And that should really roll us a little bit at a time. Might need to put a bit more power on. Excellent. So we're going to the right. And that guy's wheels are going insane. Interesting. Okay, so we are just short of taxiway Kilo for runway 15, and we don't really need to backtrack, but I suppose we should get the owner's handbook back out and go to page number 4. So where were we up to? Mixture rich. Cow flaps are open, and technically we should really do this pointing into the wind, so for the people that are going to cry about me not doing that, I will point it into the wind. So we need to go all the way around, and it's about there. Parking brake set. So fuel selector is on both, and we want to set 1800 RPM, so there's 16, 17, 18, pretty stable. So now it says we need to turn it to the left and look for a drop in RPM, which is fine, and turn it to the right. Actually, you should go left both and then right both, and there isn't more than a substantial difference when they turn to left and right, so that's fine. We can cycle the prop backwards and forwards, which I don't know why you do that, but that sounds legit. Engine vacuum ammeter all checked, and there's nothing enunciated on the well, there's nothing illuminated even on the enunciator panel. Okay, so throttle back to 1000 RPM, although it says idle, but whatever. Elevator's trim is set for takeoff, and the flaps are set. We don't need any flaps at the moment, so that's all good. Okay, so page number 5 is takeoff. So let's taxi onto runway 15. We can turn the transponder on to altitude. We're entering the runway now, so the strobe lights and the landing lights can go on. We're going to be turning onto the runway to the left. So, ooh, that was nice. We got a little bounce as we went onto the runway then. Well, that runway's pretty short. Oh well, should be okay. A lot of horsepower in this thing, and this this twin prop, sorry, this double propeller, as opposed to the triple, is apparently very, very quick, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so we can turn the pitot heat on as well. So it says power, full throttle, etc., mixture ridge, etc. Lightly lift nose wheel at 50-60 knots, climb at 70-80, and retract the flaps. All good stuff. So let's bring the yoke back, and the other yoke back, and let's go. Okay, so toe brakes released. And increasing the power. Light on the feet would be pretty cool. That acceleration, bit of a crosswind. Whoa! 60 knots. And away we go. That was interesting. That was really interesting. Okay, so we'll carry on runway heading until 500 feet. And then start to make a left-hand turn into the pattern. Woo. Now, I'm not sure what the pattern altitude here is. There's no control, so it's not really anything we can get told off for. But we'll just pretend it's maybe, we'll say maximum 1500 feet. I'm good with that. You can see the airport down there, or the airfield, should I say. Quite sure what that noise was, but that was interesting. Okay, so back to the owner's handbook. So in the climb, we want airspeed 85 to 90, which we're doing. Throttle 23 inches or full. That's interesting. Propeller 2400 RPM, which is perfect. And the mixture is 15 gallons per hour, or rich if under 1.5, or rich if under 15 gallons per hour. Okay, that's interesting. Well, we're under 15 gallons per hour, so we need to remain on rich. Fuel select is still on both, and the cowl flaps are still open. Good stuff. Now we're not going to be cruising as such. We're just going to be flying around in the circuit. So I just need to make sure that the cowl flaps for landing, they get closed. Okay, that's interesting. So when we are, I guess, turning base and we start putting flap down and stuff, then I guess we need to close the cowl flaps. Interesting management of cowl flaps. I don't know if there's anything on the manual that'll tell me about the cowl flaps operation. That's something I need to look at. But you can see the airfield out there. We've kind of drifted a little bit far out, but that's fine. We'll turn back in. This scenery is really nice. Very, very nice. Okay, so considering that I will probably forget, now we're on the left turn towards runway 15. I will put the cowl flaps to closed. If I can trim it, that would be nice. Give me a bit of power, that'll bring the nose up. All good. Okay, so cowl flaps need to be closed now. This scenery, man. Very good. I should have put track IR on, actually. Track IR would have been awesome. Now, there was a bit of a crosswind, so I'm only going to use flap 20 for landing. We don't need all that drag. It's really, really pointless, to be honest. We're pretty light anyway, so. So idle power there at the moment. 80 knots-ish. On the runway, you can probably see it, is just to the left of us there. See it. Ooh, that was a cheeky bit of turbulence, wasn't it? Very good. This place is super nice. Look at the detail down there. Good old Orbex wins again. Marker audio thing probably should be turned off, but I'm not going to do that. So we're going to turn to final very, very shortly. Bit of power to keep us in the air wouldn't go amiss. Okay, so I'll do flaps 10 now. See how it reacts to flaps 10. which it kind of nearly stalled out the sky. That was a little bit weird. We'll just base that on bad weather or something. I don't really know what happened then. Okay, we'll go flaps 20 now and make the turn to final. Now the approach speed anywhere between 65 and 70, the book says, so we'll go with that. Ignoring the pappy lights because we don't really need them. This is bouncy, oh my god. And this will be a touch and go. So it'll be, I guess the procedure's a little bit similar to flying all-night aircraft. You land, you put the flaps up 1 notch or 2 notches depending on what they're on, up to 10 degrees, and then power away. I would just maybe you just put them all the way up on this, I'm not quite sure. We'll do 10 anyway, seems a safe bet. This is some pretty crazy weather. Runway 15 is identified. It's 65 knots. I'm happy with that. Reducing to 60. Let's not let it sink, which it's about to. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Although that was a bit abrupt according to Easy Dog, but it was alright. Okay, so flaps 10. I'm back on the power. It sounds like we're in water. That's interesting. 60 knots again. That wind. Not sure what's going on there. 200 feet. Okay, pitch forward. Get the speed back. Flaps up. Just fly runway heading again. And do it all over again. It's approaching 500 feet. Let's start the left turn. This weather's insane, man. This weather is insane. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to continue in this direction, kind of northeast-ish, and I'm going to climb to about 3,000 feet. And I'm going to see what it's like to spin, or to stall at least. I don't know if it spins. I'm guessing it's probably going to. But I want to know how well it does it, the characteristics of it, etc. It's always fun to spin. So we've got about 1,000 feet to go. At the end of the day, if it all goes wrong, we're going for a swim. So there you go. There's nobody in with us, so we're not liable for anyone. Tell you what, this engine, you can get an incredible climb rate. Look at that. That's what, almost 2,000 feet a minute, and we are stable at 90, 85 knots. That's pretty incredible. Look at that go. Now if you could do that in a 172, either the passenger is anorexic and the pilot is anorexic, or you put like a 737 CFM engine on the front of it. I don't know. Okay, 3,000 feet. So, what we'll do is reduce the power. I've no idea how this is going to spin. I've no idea whether it's going to spin. It might not spin. What I will do is put flap 10 down. And I will hold it about there, maybe a little bit higher up on the nose. And then just start reducing the power. And then bring the pitch up with it. And hopefully it'll do something. Keep the pitch, keep the pitch, keep the pitch. And it doesn't really want to spin, it's trying to. Okay, there we go. Maybe not. It's thinking about it. There we go. That's it, kind of. Not really. Okay, let's climb up again. We keep flaps 10 out, we're fine. We didn't lose that much altitude either. Whoops. Okay, so we're about 3,000 feet now. I'll just idle the power as we're in the climb. I'm trying to get the nose to drop to the left. There we go. Okay, that's interesting. That really does spin. Fair play. Fair play. We just lost the best part of 1,000 feet in that. Okay, it does spin. The first one was a lame attempt. Okay, that was interesting. That was awesome. I actually thought I couldn't recover that then. To be perfectly honest with you, nothing I was doing was counteracting it, but we figured it out. It's all good. Okay, flaps back up, and let's head back over to Sunborough. You see the airfield just out of my left window there. Now I'm going to purposely land it on the let's say we'll go on the northerly or northwesterly runway, because that'll give us a bit of a crosswind. I want to see how it performs in a crosswind. Now the maximum we can do is 15 knots, but the wind isn't even 15 knots. It's going to give us about an 8 or 9 knot crosswind, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now, of course, you probably wouldn't get away with this in real life, but who cares? So, we're heading over there. We're heading for this runway here. That's the plan, anyway. So idle power, check everything's pushed in, which it is. T's and P's are good. The marker noise is real, again. Okay, so we'll start to lift the nose up a little bit, get rid of some of that power, what am I saying? Some of that speed, not power. And then we can put flap 10 down, lift that nose up, get it around the corner. Awesome. Again, I'm only going to use flap 20. We don't need to. Actually, I was about to change my mind then and say no, we'll use flap full, but we're not going to do that. We'll just stay on flap 20. So this gives us a bit of a crosswind, and the crosswind's coming from our right. So it's going to push our nose to the left, which you can see it's doing right now. So all we need to do is, well, standard crosswind, I would hope. See how it responds to being kicked out of a crab. Speed's good. I need to kind of drift it a little bit to the left though, otherwise we're going to end up in that nice field. Runway 27. Oh, it's a westerly runway. I thought it was a northerly runway. Okay, cool. We've still got a good crosswind though. Lie down there. Oh, is that a sloped runway? Nice. Okay, so right at the last minute, just kick out the rudder. And come on, baby plane, you can do it. Tease it down. There we go. That's a sloped runway then. That's incredible. I have no rudder authority, which is always fun. There we go. It's a wide runway, isn't it? That's awesome. I didn't realise that runway was sloped. Okay, flaps up. That's insane. Right, so we can vacate left here, and then left again, and we can taxi back. I love the noise. You can probably hear the seagulls, but I love the ambience of this airfield. It's very, very nice. So we'll turn left here. This is runway 15. This is the runway we initially took off on. And I'm going to hide the yokes now so I can get to all of the lights and stuff. Whoever drew the centre lines was obviously high or something, because that is not a straight line, but it's fine. I guess there's some sort of authenticity to it. And apparently the GA is over here. I see a helicopter. When I spawned on the gate, it was over there. So we'll go right, and we'll park near that helicopter, which seems more suitable. And that's exactly where we'll depart from when we do episode number 2. So around we go. See if the place seems big enough, to be fair. Maybe it's like a heli center or something, I don't really know. Looks pretty cool though. What's that, just like a little ramp? This is taxiway Charlie. Just gonna spin it around in front of this hangar here. Okay, so landing lights off and the strobe lights can come off. If I could click it, there we go. We could lean for ground ops if you wanted to. We're only going a short while anyway, so it's not really a problem. So I'll park it into wind, which is actually pretty much where we are now. It's about 220 degrees, so I'll just leave it there. Like that. Parking brake set. Awesome. Okay, so let's get the book out once more. I know we didn't bother with the descent checklist and stuff, but we can parking brake set, throttle idle, electrical equipment, we can turn all that off now. We're done with it. It was of great use. Not. Apparently the autopilot. I don't know where the off switch is on that, I'll be honest with you. Maybe just press it. Nope, okay, it's not that. Anyway, turn that off. It's not like an autopilot master switch somewhere. Whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, avionics off. There we go, that gets rid of that. And we can turn the mixture to idle cut off. And there goes the engine. Mags off. And the master switch can go off. We could have probably turned all the lights off as well on the pitot. And then that can go to left, apparently. Fuel selector valve goes to the left. Okay, there we go. Well, that's the end of that. So, we can open the door and we can get out. Very nice. Okay, so that's kind of, I say baby steps because it is. Getting to grips with how an aircraft handles is extremely important. And it handles very well. Nothing like a Cessna 172 at all. We got a spin out of it, which was what I'd hoped for. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. This is the start of something that will be ongoing with the Cessna 182. Just hope that you like the 182, otherwise it might be wasting my time, but I think you probably will. So, if you made it to the end, which not many people do nowadays, but if you did, thank you very much. Let me know by saying, yes I did, Matt, or something of that caliber. The idea of this series, for those of you that are obviously here at the end, which means you're remotely interested, is that we are going to take this aircraft down to Halfpenny Green, so Wolverhampton. We're going to do it possibly over 7 or 8 videos, and we're going to be testing the aircraft to its limits. You know, taking it up as high as we can feasibly go without passing out due to lack of oxygen, doing some emergencies and failures and stuff like that, and just seeing exactly what this thing is capable of. I've not done it before, and I think this is the perfect aircraft to do it in. The Cessna 172, a little bit too slow, a little bit too sluggish. This thing though is kind of like the sports car of the sky when it comes to Cessnas. Maybe the 206 is a bit better, but we don't have one of those, so whatever. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, as always. It has been a pleasure. More videos coming very, very soon. more on this and on other stuff as well. So, I am going until episode number 2. I will speak to you all later. Au revoir.